I had the honor of meeting Lemondrop last year at a climbing camp in Moab. She is an incredible woman. The participants, this is about their story, and Lemondrop's going to come up and tell us hers.
In the tradition of Sarah Silverman, I just want to let you know that this speech is going to be about pizza and cougars and Brad Ludden and pimps and Paris, and I might mention kayaking. So thank you for having me, you guys. I really appreciate it. I have a theory about first ascents and why it works. Has anybody here seen Talladega Nights? Show of hands. Great. Well, for those of you who haven't, it's about Ricky Bobby, who is a cocky race car driver, gets in a horrible crash. And he's so traumatized he can't get back on the racetrack, so he has to deliver pizza and live with his mom. And his father, trying to rebuild his confidence, says, "Son, you need to learn to drive with the fear. You need to get in that car with a cougar, and you need to learn to drive with the fear." And he puts him in a car with a real live cougar. And Ricky is forced to drive with the fear, and in doing so, he gets his confidence back and returns to racing. So before cancer, I was Ricky Bobby. I had a house in Kauai, green MBA, 100 grand in the bank. I had a small business I could run from my iPhone. And it never occurred to me that all of that could be napalmed by a little lump that I ignored for 3 years because everybody told me I was too young to have cancer. So by the time I signed up for First Ascents, my small business was a money pit on life support. I was working at a sporting goods store, and my dream house had fallen out of escrow 3 times. I was not living in Kauai, I was living with my sister. I wasn't delivering pizza, but I might as well have. I had even written a book about how to make it through a crisis without falling apart. But every single day, I had to struggle just to find out how I could make it through the day without falling apart. And every night, I would look at what my life had become, and I would think, this is what I went through chemo for? Really? But then I came to camp, and everything changed. You see, cancer survivors live with this kind of low-grade fear and anxiety all the time. Will it come back? Will I be able to handle it? Will she leave me? Will he love me? Worry and anxiety over what's around the next bend, over the unknown, is a constant part of your life when you've had cancer. And my theory about why First Ascents works is because it puts you in the car with the cougar, and you learn to drive with the fear. Brad Ludden has done over 100 First Ascents. And what is a first ascent except a journey into the unknown? That's every day when you've had cancer. You don't know what's coming next. You don't know if you're going to be able to handle it. All you have to do is take a leap of faith and cross your fingers. So I think FD works because when you're paddling a class 3 rapid, when you're rappelling off a 100-foot arch, you don't have the luxury of being paralyzed by fear. Something clicks inside of you, and you have to drive with the fear, or you're going to drown or die. You have to go into the unknown and summon all the courage that you have left. And what happens when you do that is you surprise yourself. Because you're like, oh my God, it's there. I have it. It's still in me. I thought cancer took it away, and it's not. It's still there. So the experience resets something, and in that moment, you remember who you were before cancer. Oh, it's like a disco in here. So I came home from camp, and for the first time in a year and a half, I looked in the mirror, and I recognized the person staring back at me. And I was like, she's kind of a pimp. So, thanks. So, I beat cancer, but it wasn't until I got back from camp that I truly started fighting for my life, for the life that I beat cancer for. Since camp, my 5-year survival date is actually a week before my 40th birthday. So unlike most women who are like, oh God, 40, I'm like, yes, 40. 5 years. So when I came back, I made a list of 40 things that I couldn't live without doing, that I wanted to do, because if I get to 40 and they're like, we missed something, I'll be like, psh, that's all right. I kayaked. I went to Paris. I did a chocolate tour of Paris. I ran the New York Marathon. I did a cross-country road trip. I perfected my chocolate chip cookie recipe. I was a mermaid for Halloween, and I ran the Disney Princess Half Marathon. And this year, I'm going to learn to roll a kayak with FD and run the Honolulu Marathon 10 years after I did it the first time. So believe me when I say this right here, this is what I beat cancer for, this life that I'm living right now. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Nobody wants to get in the car with a cougar, okay? She will ruin your Crystal Gale t-shirt. She will. And she won't feel bad about it either. But if you want to fight for your life, if you want to really fight for your life, you have to get your feet wet, you have to skin your knees, you have to get blisters on your fingers and water up your nose. And after that, you're probably going to have to sign up for a Team FD event so we can keep paying it forward. Incidentally, if you want to run the Colorado Relay, I'm doing it and I'm bringing my chocolate chip cookies, so see Dory. In closing, I just want you to ask yourself, whether you've had cancer or not, what is it you can't live without doing? What is it that you can't bear the thought of leaving this world without having under your belt? Because whether it's kayaking a river, climbing a mountain, finishing a marathon, or doing the Leadville, it's for you, Brent. You're going to have a family here to support you in that. Every single person in this room. When I have this, I'm part of a family, and FD is my second family. You have to challenge yourself, and I promise you that when you do, First Ascents will give you back a taste of the person that you were before cancer. And believe me when I say, for those people who fight for it, life has a flavor that the faint of heart will never taste, ever. And it was Lemondrop. Thank you.